strike up.
Hi, this is James Devine with the Music Ed Podcast. Hey, I'd love to send you my free training, 7 tips to save 5 hours this week and every week. If you'd like to receive that, send me an email at jamesthedivine@gmail.com. Also, if your music event needs professional development or speaker, get in touch with me. I'd love to help out. Enjoy the podcast.
Where you get quick and easy tips on how to be a better band teacher.
Hey, this is James Devine with the Music Ed Podcast, and today we are doing tips 6 through 10 for new directors. Tip number 6, give yourself grace. We are perfectionists. We're always looking for what's wrong in the music, what can we fix, and we tend to do the same thing to ourselves. I've actually learned the most from things that I did wrong. That's where I improved the most. And I learned as much from poor leaders in the Army as I did from my good leaders. I kind of came into teaching in a non-traditional way. I took a part-time teacher certification program. I was already teaching in a private school. I actually had a business degree. And so I didn't have the normal conducting classes. And I watched those first few years, I watched good and bad conductors. And I learned from both of them. The same thing with us. Embrace your mistakes, learn from them, take what you can from them and improve. Don't make the same mistakes, but learn from yourself and give yourself grace. Number 7, create a to-do list. Here's what I mean. I have a list that I used to use much more often in my earlier years of teaching, but I would subdivide it monthly. So I had things listed under a month, and then those would eventually get into my real calendar, but I would print that out and post it above my desk. For example, it would say in August, pick concert songs, issue marching band uniforms, order method books. And that way I could check it off and make sure that I did that and completed it. And I didn't have to think about it. February, it might say, pick the theme for next year's show. Or it probably said something more like set the date to have the students help me pick the theme for next year's show. And that was something that was very helpful to me. I'll put a link to my list in the show notes so you can use that and copy from it if you want to. Number 8. Create a save to file. What I mean by that is just a hanging file folder where you save at least one copy of all concert programs that you do, including a copy from programs kids you've had in honor bands, all city groups, all state groups, etc. This can often come in handy, especially when you're programming music for the future and you can't remember when the last time you did that song was or how it went. You can pull that out and see that you did it 5 years ago and it's okay to do it now. I'm actually conducting an honor band in January that I had conducted in 2016, I believe it was. And the person organizing the honor band sent me a list and it had all the songs and all the clinicians going back like 12 years. And that was actually very helpful for me to see what songs they were doing as I sent them the list of songs that we'll be doing this year. Number 9. Don't think you know everything. There's a joke about a person who went to apply at a grocery store and saw that they had an opening. And after filling out the application, the store manager said, well, we have an opening for someone to sweep the store. And the person answered, but I have a degree. And the manager said, that's okay. I'll teach you how. All kidding aside, having a degree doesn't mean that you know everything. When I did my master's program, most of my fellow classmates, I did a 3-summer program, and most of my fellow classmates had jumped in right past their bachelor's degree and had never taught. They were doing the summer program to like ease their schedule during the school year, whereas I was doing a 3-year complete program. A lot of them would talk about something in class and they're like, well, when I'm teaching, I'm going to do blah, blah, blah. Now, they had as much education as me. We were working on our master's degree together, but I had about 20 years on them as far as experience in the music field. And I would tell them, that's not going to work. You might think that's going to work, or that might be what the book says, but that's not going to work. You can learn from everybody. You can learn from students. That shouldn't be your primary source of learning, but you can learn from them. You can learn from the principal. You can learn from the English teacher who took band. You can ask them questions like, what kept you in band all those years? Because some of them are very passionate about their time in band and want to tell you about it. Or why did you drop? I've learned from people who dropped band and they talked about how the person didn't seem to care about them who was teaching band or didn't get them going on the right instrument. So I learned from that also. Number 10, program easier music than you think and allow more time than you think to prep it. My aim was always to be concert ready 2 weeks before the concert. Then when testing came or snow days or other interruptions or the math field trip or whatever might come up, it didn't throw me for a loop. I wasn't always that way. When early in my career, there were times we were the day before a concert and I was panicking about whether any of our songs was going to be ready. And when students say that a song is too easy, have them play the song for you that they're saying is too easy. And then maybe have the whole band play just one letter of it without you conducting. And then when they fall apart, then they're going to realize that it's not as easy as they thought it was. Or they might prove you wrong. And if they can play it perfectly and with very little rehearsal, then say, okay, you know what? Maybe this song is too easy. What I like to do, I have twice as many songs in the folder as what I actually am planning on doing. And there are some things in there that are very difficult. So if we have a day where the songs that are easier are just going very quickly for them, we can pull that out and spend a few minutes on it. And then they realize that, hey, there's still things I need to work on. That it's just more fun to have more songs like that too. I hope that these tips have been helpful for you. Tune in next week to get 5 more tips.
The Music and Podcast, where you get quick and easy tips for how to be a better band teacher.